there. Okay. My I am coming through live. Okay. How you doing? It's been a while since I've been live, and I just figured I'd jump on here live and talk to you guys for a little bit. My life in the last I haven't streamed in a while. I haven't streamed in probably I don't know. It's been a few months now. And I think YouTube is definitely going to basically say that I'm no longer exist. That this is a dead channel. And frankly, just I haven't had time to make anything. And to be honest, it has been. It's just been dead. I've been trying my best to kind of get back into a swing of things, try to find my rhythm and pattern with my life and all that. And because of that, I just haven't been able to do anything recently. And Boyer says, "Why have you not been making things?" That's because I've been literally making a lot of other things for other people, basically, and getting paid to do so, and trying to keep my house and life afloat by doing things for other groups, other people, for doing like work for teaching, and so gigs and working normally. Yeah, like there we go. Let's put your comment up there on screen. But yeah, no, that's what I've been doing. I have been working on my. We're now week 5. I think week 5 or 6 of my what do you call it? There it is. Week 5 or 6 of my cinematography class. So I've been doing that. Like I literally have not. I've been right now. I've got State of the Cities coming up. 2 of them. One coming up in 2 weeks from now. I need to in early October. I've got a State of the City for another city coming up in mid October. So between those two are those things. Those things have been keeping me very busy. Why are you not watching football, and why do you hate America? I love that comment. I'm not watching football because I don't really know much about football. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I did watch boxing last night for the first time, so and the American won. So although my girlfriend was rooting for the other guy, Canelo, to win, I root the other guy won. I don't remember Omaha. What's his name? And so I watched that. But yeah, no, I kind of it sucks. I can't feel anything but like upset, and not upset, but like a deep kind of regret of not being able to make stuff, and even not being able to make stuff that I want to make, like I haven't had time to do much of anything, and it's not necessarily any, I've been using it kind of to I've been using it to kind of like try to. Well, the time I've been spending is with people that I love and I want to hang out with, and I'm trying to fill that social part of my side. But it's like there's not a whole lot of like time in the rest of the day to do anything else. Like, fortunately, YouTube does not sustain me, even come close to sustain me. I had a rough summer too. Like it like goes so slow, and then I was waiting for this one contract to finish up, or to even go through the process. The paperwork kept things me not getting paid for months and months and on end. It's kind of sad to not see faces I used to on here. You're part of that. I know. I agree. I need to, yeah, and I keep telling myself I need to dedicate some time to put up, at least start working on things. I've got ideas and I've got all this stuff, but it's just so hard right now to get anything done. Like I don't know how I can say other than saying like it's just been super hard to try to eke out time to go back to what I was once excited about making film. I do this cinematography class right now, and that right now, I guess the cinematography class that I've been doing is fulfilling that little gap of like desire to try to demonstrate stuff with cinematography, with filmmaking. Is kind of bringing me back to a love of cinematography. I think also the problem there's a couple reasons, a couple issues that I've kind of dealt with, is that there has been a remarkable shift away from like excitement about the movies, just because I think with all the culture war stuff that's going around the movies, that movies have become kind of not very fun to think about or talk about it, because it just feels like I haven't been able to get excited about anything for a long time as far as like going to the movies. In fact, the most fun I have these days, and I still watch a lot of movies, the most fun we have right now is watching old movies, watching movies that are, we watch a lot of so good they're so bad they're good movies. And so that's what I've been like. Every week our friends and I get together and we watch these really bad movies, and that's been fun. When I watch those movies, I always, a tinge of me always says, wow, they made a movie, how come I can't make a movie? Because partly, frankly, because the movie they made is not a movie that I would ever want to make myself. There's some pretty bad ones. Last night we watched JJ Stomp's Boss Man movie. Yeah, and that was The Boss Man, and like, for all intents and purposes, that was like really terrible. Like it literally fails the number one rule, right, of filmmaking, which is have good sound. And the whole movie is like half the time the boss man, you can't even understand what he's saying because he's mumbling, and then there's also no good. The sound is really bad, like it's terrible. But we watch it and we make fun of it and we just have a great time. We laugh our asses off, and that's been my movie night. That's been my movie. And then the other side of movie night was showing the class like examples of like whatever topic I'm talking about. So this week is color, and I want to watch the movie Women. Well, what the heck is it? Women on the verge Women on the verge of a nervous breakdown. It was a 1988 movie that has a lot of color in it. And it looked like it was fun. It looked like a fun movie, so I wanted to kind of go and check that out. I am disappointed in your species. I like that, says the cat. And I'm also watching my friend's dog. So I'm pet sitting my friend's dog, which is also taking a little time, but I don't want to blame the dog for any of that. I watch a lot of old movies as well. The entire country is responsible for all the culture will be us. You are so preoccupied with bad shit to care about movies. Yeah, well, it's invaded movies too. Like it's become where now the movies have become like the movies are entering that cultural statement. They're no longer interested in telling stories and more about pushing agendas and stuff like that. And that's come into the movies as well. At least I feel that way. And it's just hard to get away from it. I don't think it's I feel like the movies used to be a place where you can kind of get away from the culture stuff, and I don't know, it's going to take a while to get back there. That's why we end up watching a lot of these older movies. It's like it feels like the culture war BS is not so much in there. Dirk Snyder says Almodovar. I'm not quite sure what that is. Let's Google that. Oh, Pedro Almo. Oh yeah, Almodovar. Okay, yeah, yeah. The guy that created the women in what? Yeah, that's yeah, that's right. I didn't quite get that connection. But yeah, no, I want to see that movie. I'm going to watch it probably today. Because it seems really, that movie looked really kind of fun and interesting. Oh, is it on Netflix? Let's see. If it's on Netflix, even better. I have to pay for it. I mean, I already pay for it. I don't think it's on Netflix though. Oh, well, I'll just buy it on Amazon. Let's see your comments here. The movie industry is no longer pretending to be out stories, and yeah, you're saying that now, but it's less stories now and turned into farming an audience for cash. That's the other, I guess that's the other side of it. You bring up a good point. Like, Yeah, I think you found another nail of it. It's not just a culture war. You're right. You're right. It's that when Pixar. Here's the thing. I guess look at Pixar's slate of movies coming out in the next few years, and it. So let's see. I think it was they're gonna come up with like Toy Story 5, Coco 2, and like every single movie that Pixar is going to make is literally a sequel. And you just like to my heart it's so disheartening because my heart is so it's just so disheartening because it's like how can we have anything new? How can I believe in someone like dreaming up something new when everything is just another sequel? And you know, Pixar used to be like the Dream Factory, right? It used to make movies that you were excited, like you would be telling a brand new story, but everything is a sequel. And it's got to the point where it's just like maybe I just hit my wall with that, and I couldn't like take it anymore. Only mainstream Hollywood is like that. Movies outside the framework, there are still many good. I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But the problem, I think, for me was that Hollywood is sort of always been sort of that mainstream Hollywood has always been aspirational, and when the aspiration goes away, and you're like, well, screw it. Now there's no way you can make movies in the mainstream Hollywood setup that's not literally regurgitated trash. That okay, what's the point? And I'm not saying that small movies are like less interesting. It's just that it's just the main narrative is so unbelievably cluttered. Like and I always agreed with you. Let me just keep going in the comments here. Why risk the investment of a new story we can recycle old title? Hollywood doesn't gamble. Yeah, but and I've always been of this mindset too. And I want to read your comment here, Giovanni. The movie industry always been about cashing in. What I'm unsure about is if we get people out to the theater anymore, given how reluctant people people are to generally leave their home. Exactly. I agree. I've always been of the sentiment that Hollywood has always been about regurgitating and cashing in and all that. Like we look back at, I it's interesting, but how many sequels were there to the Good, Bad, and no, the Magnificent Seven? The Magnificent Seven sequels. Like there were two sequels. I'm sorry, three sequels. There was Return of the Magnificent Seven, 1966, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, 1969, and The Magnificent Seven Ride, 1972. So, obviously in the 70s they had sequelitis, and it's always been a thing. I think it's when you look at the Disney, when the Disney slate of movies, right, that are going to come up, and you see that graphic, and they put up that graphic of the movies that they want to have at like D23, and you're looking at it and you're like, Toy Story 5? I mean, this is getting to like levels of like parody of pornos where it's like backyard bustly girls number 29. It's I don't know. I think that's part of my like really deep frustration with movies. That yeah, there it is. It's Hoppers, Toy Story 5, Gato, Incredibles 3, Coco 2. So of those of those 5 movies that they're listing, only 2 are originals, Gato and Hoppers. I don't even know what Hoppers is. Or is Hoppers something that is like I don't know. And it's like, how can you bring magic when everything is literally just repeat, 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 repeat? And it's, I don't know, it's just disheartening. So that's why I'm kind of giving up on mainstream movies. I think I'm going to probably end up canceling my. I haven't canceled my movie like subscription membership, but I feel like I haven't been in the movie since like Mission Impossible 7 came out, because there's just not a whole lot that I've been. Well, I haven't had a whole lot of time, but I don't know. It's hard to even drag myself out to the movies. And again, I know this is. I mean, this is all perfect storm of like having a busy and stressful life here. I'm working in my backyard, doing digging and stuff like that. I haven't dug in a while, but I have to do that. And yeah. So anyhow, it's just been kind of disheartening with all that. And like I have ideas for these videos I want to produce and haven't been able to do that. My one little outlet of creativity that's outside of my like normal job is painting. So I've been painting, but even then, right now, the painting's reduced down to like 2 hours, one session a week, where you go to the art class I go to and I paint there because I haven't had much time to do anything else. I don't know. I'm really whiny today. I'm really complaining about a lot of stuff. So, but I figured I'd just get on here because I haven't even streamed in a long time. So I figured I'd get on here and stream for a little bit and just talk about what everything's going on. And of course, this whole week was also this week. This week, other than just the news being incredibly despairing, like I also happen to have two like extremely long days. Like Tuesday, it was about a 16-hour day, involved like an early call to do a job, and then I was working all day until I got up about 5:30, and then I got home. So 5:30 got up, was supposed to be at the site at 7 a.m. and I got home about 9:30. So it was a long day. It wasn't particularly tough, like it wasn't creatively taxing or even I mean, it was somewhat physically taxing, but it was long. And then Thursday again, I had a 7 a.m. morning call, but that was a physically taxing because I was out and shooting and working with a client. And I don't want to say too much more, but it just felt like it wasn't the kind of creative work I would have wanted to do. It was a lot of waiting and, not knowing what was going to happen kind of thing, and just kind of all over the place. So yeah, it was really rough. Kelly Smith says, I know the feeling this past week was rough. Yeah, no. And I was also teaching too. I taught Wednesdays. I teach Wednesdays and Fridays, half a day. And so I was busy doing all that. So this was a long week, and it was just rough. And then by the end of the week, I'm like, Friday came and Saturday came. I'm like, I woke up. I said, there's a block party on my neighborhood street. I went to the block party and I went to my friend's house to do movie night, and we watched that J.J. Stomp movie, Boss Man, which was rough. I mean, enjoyable. We had fun. But I decided to do that. I just decided that was going to be my Saturday was my goof off day. Ivan says, do I consider exercise? Yeah, I do. So I've been doing a lot of yard work. Like yard work, for about a week and a half or so, I'm trying to dig a trench around my studio, which is like harder than anything I've ever done in a gym. Like I spent about an hour or two just like digging and digging and digging, and breaking through my soil, which is really hard soil. So I had jackhammer out there jackhammering, and then I would dig and dig and dig and dig until I got everything out. And I still have a little section left to go. And then once I finish that, because I'm thinking about building a patio back there too, a flagstone patio. I want to continue because I don't want to give up the digging. The digging was like it's my gym, really. It's like I dig until I just sweat so profusely, like I'm covered in sweat. So like about an hour of digging or so, and that's how um, my workout. And but this last week I have been so busy I haven't had time to do that. So I want to do some more of that too. Your week was actually good, Anne. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, mine was not very good, very long and drawn out. I mean, I can I complain? Yes, I can complain. Am I not grateful for like the fact that I have a job that pays me enough to survive, that I have friends, and I have my girlfriend who's been a big part of my life, who's been keeping me kind of stable. I'm just grateful for all of that. I am absolutely grateful, but it was a hard long week. It was a hard week, and plus I will end not too long from now, so I can go and hang out with her and end my week on a really high note. MKL5257, good to hear from you. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back. I think I need to probably come back and do these live streams so I can have some semblance of like owe you guys something to keep me kind of motivated to produce more videos. It is okay to talk about negative things even if you have good things to be grateful for. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, you're right. But I'm saying, like, it was a hard week. It wasn't a bad week. Like, it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't like I'm now in a bigger hole. It was just like taxing both mentally, physically, emotionally. You know, all of that stuff was very, very crazy this week. But I think I'm in a better place now. I think I'm in a better headspace. So I'm excited to see how I want to watch women who are on the verge of a nervous breakdown. So that, because I'm looking for color, that'll be fun. So looking forward to that. But yeah, like that's the other thing. Like you think about, I mean, I think about is like, as far as like actually making films, is like I wonder what's the end goal if you make a film. Like how do you even get funding for a movie? So like the whole idea of making movies is to make money. Like that's how you can afford to spend $200,000 on a movie, is if you expect to make the $200,000 back. But what happens when you don't expect to make $200,000 back on your movie? Well, then you can't spend $200,000 on your movie. You have to spend a lot less. If you want to make your own art, you got to be able to afford it. And, right now, well, with the summer, being able to afford making my own art seemed like a far pipe dream. But yeah. Anyhow, talking about teaching, I am a new lecturer at our university here, and your videos are so useful. Use them as a student, now as a lecturer. Good for you. Thank you. Please feel free to use them. Use anything I put out there in your classroom. I know I do. So, I do. The purpose of making movies is not to make money, though. I don't know about that. Well, let's put it this way. How can you afford to make movies is the question. Okay, so like either you make movies to make money or you make movies for art. Now, if you make movies for art, you are limited by the budget, the amount of money you're willing to put into it. Okay? So like if I'm going to make my own personal movie, am I going to spend my entire life savings on that movie? No, because then my entire life savings is gone and I don't have anything to live off of. All right? So if you want to be able to make movies at a price, or if you want to make movies, if you want to have the resources to make movies, you need to be able to recoup those resources to make money. Right? Otherwise, you are just making movies out of your own pocket. And there's nothing wrong with that. And frankly, that's what I would do if I had more pocket money and time to do it. But the problem is, if you do, if you once you cross that threshold, and you start saying, well, I want to be able to make movies the way that, like, we watch those video essays about, like, about Hitchcock or any of those Hollywood, or Kubrick, or what's his name? Why is his name Fincher? David Fincher. And you watch about, like, how he positions the actors. Wes Anderson. How does Wes Anderson, like, create those beautiful magical shots with all that art direction? Well, I look at movies and I look at art direction and I think, wow, if I had the money to, like, make a set and to paint the set a certain color, and I could create all these different things, but all that takes money, and you can't unless you are the one of the lotto winners, which I've always wanted to be. You can't make that art unless you can recoup the money. So you have to make the money back. So when you say, like, the purpose of movies is not to make money, it's like, well, yeah, if in a world where you could afford to make the movie for no money, but as soon as you spend the money on the movie, you're going to have to make it back, or otherwise it's completely unsustainable. It's like, I can paint. Like, I can go out and buy a canvas for $10 and I can spend $50 on paint and and paint a painting, and then make some art that I find fun and enjoyable for my tastes. And that's art, and I'm happy and I have something, and that's great, but I can still have a life. I can still afford food after that. Versus if I wanted to make a feature film, and I would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to do so, then I have to make money. It is smart to be able to make money with movies, but the real purpose is not to make money. I think you guys are missing what I'm saying. And saying, like, you can't practice your art unless you have the money, and you have to make the money. I realize you're saying that you're saying art's for art's sake, but the reality is, if you wanted to make art, just write a book. That's art. There's other ways of making art. In order to make a feature, or at least a certain kind of movie, like, you need to be able to recoup those costs, or at least do it for an amount of money where it won't, like, kill you. The story of Tarsem Singh really inspires me. He sold everything to make his dream film. That film didn't collect cash. Don't mind me, though. I'm still dreaming of art films phase. Yeah. The thing is, though, like, I have other aspirations besides film, Like, and especially if you want to talk about, like, bringing a family on board. Like, if you have kids and stuff like that. Can you have kids? Do you want to be able to provide for them as well? Or is being, like, selling everything you have, and for art that doesn't make any money, is that just a young person's dream? Like, the older you get, the more established you get, the more you realize you have to make money on this stuff. And then part of me also is like, I guess, again, I can probably, and this is my own problems, I can probably get a bunch of friends together and just say, hey, look, we're going to make a movie, and we're not going to pay you anything. We're all going to just work for free, and we're going to create this little thing, and we're going to like it, and we're going to enjoy it, and that's cool too. I would love to do that. My problem with that right now is that I couldn't do that because I would need to get paid. Like, my time is limited, that I would want to get paid if I had to, like, invest so much time. But, and then again, I don't know. And again, maybe if I had a group, then enough interest in this one project that we want to put together, and we just want to get together and do this film and do it, maybe we could do something that is really cheap, or, not cheap, but, like, really affordable, versus something that, like, a Fincher would do or Wes Anderson would do, that requires like sets and locations and hours of lighting and professional everything and all that jazz. But then again, that's, when I got into filmmaking, that was my dream. The Wes Anderson style was my dream. But feels like that Hollywood mainstream movie thing is just doesn't exist anymore. Maybe we just all make YouTube shorts and enjoy that, because hell, I watch more YouTube than I watch movies. I mean, although that's changing. I would go back and watch a lot of more older movies. Any thoughts about stacking CPL filters on a variable ND filter? I think that's just one of those things where you're better off just trying it. But honestly, I think you probably shouldn't be stacking CPL so CPL, circular polarizer, over variable ND, which is already going to be a polarizer of a type. You could probably get away with it. I'm sure you can probably get away with it. Is it ideal? Maybe. You might run into some weirdness because, so a CPL filter or a circular polarizer, and this is, I guess, you remind me of a video that I really need to go back and do. I want to do a video about what is a circular polarizer. And a circular polarizer, believe it or not, is a linear polarizer sandwiched with something called a quarter wave plate. So when you buy a CPL, a circular polarizer, you are buying a linear polarizer and something else. That's what a CPL is, a circular polarizer is. So you obviously, if you have a variable ND filter, that's two polarizer filters, and then you add another filter on top of that, you can have unexpected interactions between all three filters. So that's the only danger in that. I mean, you can just try it and go for it and see what happens. Den Dog says, first time seeing my new studio setup, looks great. Have some luck find you along with your grind, bro. Much love. Thank you very much. So this is the editing bay of my studio. I got a lot of crap in here because I've been editing and doing stuff. There's the rest of my studio. There's the dog I'm watching. He's hanging out in the studio. I don't want him near my rabbits. But I just haven't had much time to do other stuff in the studio. Dirk, another 50. Thank you for Super Chat. Do you have any experience in shooting in movies in 3D? Is there a way to make them on a budget, or they always be expensive to make? I was interested in 3D for a bit, and I've lost interest in it. I think there are. I mean, the whole like 3D craze is sort of dead. I don't know if you would have any luck like taking the I don't think you have any luck taking taking a 3D movie. I don't think rephrase it. You're not having luck marketing a 3D movie because I don't know anybody that would show it or see it in 3D. Like, you might get lucky. I don't know. I would advise, filmmaking is hard enough. Like, don't do 3D. It's not worth it. I don't even go see mainstream movies in 3D. Like, I wouldn't see any advantage in 3D. I mean, I guess there are some things, maybe 3. I don't know. VR? Is VR is the only. I just feel like 3D is so dead. Like, there's almost no 3D. I mean, other than big blockbuster movies, which aren't even shot in 3D, they're all rotoscoped these days anyway. I don't know. Maybe they need to have AI rotoscoping, make 3D out of that. Tan says, but imagine touching one person so deeply that person ends up changing the world because they watch your film and you don't even know them. I know. That's true. But is that worth you not having money for your family? That's the thing, like, and I think what you're maybe you're not understanding what I'm saying is, I agree that there is making movies for the love of making movies, and the movies for the love of story and all that. It's just that once you get past a certain dollar amount, as far as the cost of the movie has to be made to make money back. If you can make your movie for $10 and be the art that you want to make, then absolutely you can say the movie was not made for money because I made it for $10. You know, I feel some of the stuff I make at Filmmaker IQ is not made for money. It was made because I wanted to say something and I wanted to create something. It's just right now I'm having a hard time finding the time to make it and finding the time, even things that I want to get passionate, the hours and require me to make, you know. But I think after a certain dollar amount, and the thing is, like, all those things that you want to practice, like I want to practice things like lighting, things like art direction, you know, art direction, the kind of framing that I like to do where I can have control is stuff that isn't available to cheap production, to low cost productions. Let's put it that way. I just want HDR graded to 1,000 nits or more. There you go. I have really yet to understand all of HDR stuff yet. Like, it's still PQD or whatever, PQ, HDR plus. That's still sort of like far away from me. I still haven't really wrapped my mind about how to even do it. You know, it's like, that's the thing, right? So I partly, I'm a good chunk of my money I make for videos for clients, right? I make videos for clients and that don't necessarily understand how production works. And as I become more educated, as I learn more about, you know, visual theory, as I start working in, like, you know, controlling color and controlling lighting and doing all that stuff that I talk about in Filmmaker IQ that gets people watching my videos, that they love hearing about how to do all these things and and framing and all that stuff. And I work with clients that just expect me to show up and shoot something and don't tell me what it is they want me to shoot half the time. And that's frustrating for me because they're like, oh, we're going to make a video about this. I'm like, okay. And maybe I should push them harder to, like, try to, like, oh, I need to see the location first. Let's talk about, like, the hour that we need to shoot. There's a lot of things I want to consider, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be a little video that's going to go on social media and they're going to show it and at the thing, and then people are going to forget about it. And I'm like, and I'm stuck here wondering, why don't I just do what they want me to do? Just do what they say. I charge by the hour, and I just collect my money and just forget about it. It's okay. You know, I think, you know what? I'm convincing myself that I really do need to shoot. I need to make something for myself. I'm really convincing myself because, like, the other day, they're shooting like this little sketch for this city thing. And they were like, oh, not to be rude, I'll come back to you. I don't think you answered my question. You end up giving advice. Your question was, do I have any experience shooting movies in 3D? I don't think I actually have any direct experience shooting. And is there a way to make them on a budget, or they always be expensive to make? No, there is no way to make them on a budget. There's your answer. I was trying to, like, couch it in, like, actually advice. All right, so yeah, I was shooting this thing, and it was supposed to be a sketch, and and I was going to get, like, okay, let me get an angle and a reverse angle, and they kind of like, oh, you know, can't you just shoot it from the side and get both of us talking, and we'll just shoot it that way? I'm like, okay. So we just want, like, a profile shot of people talking, and that's going to be your sketch. All right. You know, and I wasn't upset about it. Like, I wasn't like, oh, you're demeaning my artistic. No, I'm being paid by the hour to do this. You know, and frankly, this was not planned to be some amazing cinematography. This isn't supposed to be amazing, like, cinematographic sketch. It's supposed to be whatever it is. So I'm bummed, aren't I? I'm boring. I'm dull. I'm dull today. Sorry, guys. I did want to check in, say hi, and see what's going on. Any questions? Any want to hang out or say anything? I definitely do need to make my own project. They are doing they are bringing back the 48-hour AI project, but I don't feel the desire to do it very strongly because I feel like if I the AI at this point has become the point where you can just, if you have the right tools, it's really not just a matter of thinking of the craziest things. I saw a trailer for this movie called this trailer for a Karen movie, the Karens, and I thought that was amazing. I thought the AI did a great job, or they did a great job of creating a pitch for a movie about Karens, and I thought, wow, this really looks really good. Like, I mean, it still has AI slop all over it, but like it's the point where you can make whatever you want. You can make whatever silly joke video you want from AI, and now it's just a matter of who can come up with the silliest AI, jokes. And obviously they're still different from like actual properly shot videos without AI with real life people. But if you wanted to make something that looked like it was $1 million movie, and just be, but no one would actually make a movie. There are some jokes. There are some things in the world that are jokes and parodies, where you're like, there's no way people would spend money pouring money into making that, right? So like, would you ever? So part of the humor is that you don't expect someone to spend effort to make certain thing. So like, if I wanted to make a musical about farting, right? You would go and watch this musical, and the whole time you're sitting there like, I can't believe anyone spent their time making something so ridiculously stupid and all that money and effort to make something so stupid and dumb. That's part of the humor of watching Farting the Musical. Well, now with AI, like, you can get there. And I wonder if that's going to mess with our sense of humor too, because like, I can make a musical about farting with AI, and it wouldn't take that much time and effort. I mean, it would take some time and effort, but it wouldn't take as much as it would be to hire costumes. I remember like when I was starting out, like, I loved doing sketches. I loved making sketches, and I always wanted to do a sketch show. But what I discovered over time was that sketch shows are extremely hard to do. That's why there aren't a whole lot of sketch shows on television, because they involve so much like effort, Like, you need to costume, you need to create locations, you need to create props. Like, a sketch show is like making a mini movie. If you're doing like, 6-8 sketches in a sketch show, that's 6-8 little mini movies you got to make. And it's a tremendous amount of effort and time to go into making those. It's much easier to like just have a set where you work out of, like a Tonight Show, right? Or a late night show. You can just do all your sets on the stage, and just. My point with all that was, now with AI, you can create a sketch show with AI where it's nothing but, hastily put together AI stuff. I can't imagine why anyone would make a farting movie and not shoot it in smell-o-vision. I like that comment. That's a great comment. That's very true. Although I think, unlike most people, my farts don't stink. Just kidding. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. All right. Well, speaking of stinking, I need to go take a shower. And I need to go take off and go do some other things. AI films are blasphemy. I kind of agree with that. I think AI is sort of sloppy, but I'll be honest. Like, if somebody makes a Karen movie, that would be a Karen movie in AI. That was funny, and it was just the right amount of effort. Like, I don't expect someone to actually go out and shoot a Karen movie, although someday they will probably. I mean, there is already a movie it's called Karen, but it was made in like 2022. So history of smells in the movies. There's only been a couple. I think Smell-O-Vision was one of the things. It was William Castle's. It was a scratch and sniff kind of thing, where you would go in the theater. There was a couple things where they would waft the air. They'd fill the air with different smells. That was one setup. And then I think there's another one that I think William Castle did where they give you like a scratch card. And like, number 2 came up and you're supposed to scratch and sniff it. You know. I guess if you technically consider it that Wizard of Oz at the Sphere has a Smell-O-Vision aspect to it. They pump scent into the air for Wizard of Oz. Which, I don't know. I would be interested in seeing that Wizard of Oz just to see it. I know a lot of people were hating on it because it used AI to do some stuff, and I'd be interested just to experience it to see what the hell it was all about. But I just can't justify spending that kind of money on a ticket for the Wizard of Oz. I don't know. It's a hard sell for me at this point. Anyhow, it is 52 here. So let me call off now. I'll hopefully get back to streaming some more. Maybe we should stream one of these nights. Just stream at night and just hang out here at night with you guys. That could be a possibility because my weekends are getting busier. Anyhow, that will do it for this week. I'll be back streaming hopefully soon, and we will talk again. Check in next week or sometime next week. All right, guys. I'm fading to black, and we will see you guys later. Bye now.